Hey, everyone. Welcome to this version of the Lunch and Learn. It is that time. Yes, it's that time for you to tell me what you're having for lunch. Okay, well, we'll get to that in a minute. I would first like to recognize my constant co-host here, Vanessa Hunter, who's here with me today. But we have a special guest. We have a special guest today, Rusty Hamrick. And we brought him on because, well, not only is he an expert realtor, but he's learned how to leverage the Mailbox Power system, which means he knows about that question we're talking about today. What to say when the phone rings? Because if you use Mailbox Power, your phone will ring whether you like it or not. And if you're not prepared, folks, it could get crazy. So anyway, here we are. I'd love to hear what you're having for lunch today. I'm hungry. I may start drooling, so be careful at how much detail you give me, and pictures, beware. And I do love tacos. So anyway, there you have it. Vanessa, what do you think?
There you have it. There you have it. So what's everyone having for lunch? We've got, if you're a Facebook user and you haven't registered with StreamYard, we can't see who you are. So just put your name in the comments. Somebody's saying hello to all of us. Ooh, somebody had shrimp and grits for lunch. Wow.
Good. I love
wow. And we're just going to give it a few more minutes, Joe, because the people that are joining us, I think Facebook must have joined us, though. So I think we're in good shape. Sometimes we have a little bit of delay in getting the Facebook crowd on, and we're already live over on YouTube. Nanette is having clam chowder, one of my favorites. One of my favorite. Now, my question is it New England or Manhattan clam chowder? New England or Manhattan clam chowder?
A good darn question right there. Definitely.
That's my question, because I'm a big fan of the New England clam chowder. That's some comfort food. Anyway, hello, Karen. Good to see you. She's having a cup of coffee.
Well, okay. Cup of coffee's good.
And Nanette is having that New England chowder, and one of our Facebook users, great Indian cuisine. Ooh, yum.
Oh my. And Tom's having coffee too. Geez, when are we going to get off the coffee thing?
Seriously.
Yeah, coffee with butter is really yummy.
Coffee with butter?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know anything about this.
Oh, goodness. And you're a keto girl. You need to try this. See,
I don't know
we're in 20 minutes and we're still talking about food. This is the problem. This is where
okay, guys. Let's talk about the real thing that we're here to talk about. And the reason that we brought Rusty on today, Rusty's a 22-year veteran of real estate. He has been a realtor for 22 years and is a former Keller Williams training director. He's also a certified training partner with Mailbox Power. So he knows exactly what to say when the phone rings, and he's going to share some of that with us today. So you all enjoy your lunch, and give us a listen, because we are going to be sharing some wisdom with you all in just a moment. There you go. Okay, so we spend a lot of time generating leads and nurturing relationships. You all, if you've seen our Lunch and Learns before, then you know that that is a big focus of Joe and I, is how to generate leads, how to nurture those relationships, what you should be doing. But the big question is, do you know what to say when the phone rings? And on this particular Lunch and Learn, we're going to be focusing on realtors and what realtors should say when the phone rings. But we are going to expand that into other areas and other markets and other little market segments in the future. So this one is in particular for real estate or for realtors. But again, we'll be talking about other segments in the future. And no matter what you hear today, you can apply it to whatever you're doing, because the principles are all the same in terms of what to say when the phone rings. So with that, let's get started, Rusty, on this amazing card that you used to celebrate people's birthdays with.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on today. And just as an aside, coffee with butter is called bulletproof coffee. There's a couple different combinations, but highly recommended.
Okay.
So whatever.
That sounds good.
Oh, it's high fat. It's so good. Oh my gosh. So this is my birthday. It's actually Joe's birthday card that he graciously made available to everybody in the design store. And then my half birthday card that I send out to my top, the way I tend to think of the people in my life is like, in terms of my real estate business, are like my group A and my group B people. So they're like my 200 or so people, my sphere of influence.
Great. And we did a whole lunch and learn on segmenting your prospects or segmenting your people in your circle and your network. And I see that you're doing different things for different people, but the real key to this, Rusty, is you're celebrating people's birthdays, which you wouldn't think has an immediate impact on building your real estate business or building your business as a realtor. But as it turns out, these cards have made your phone ring, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are really there's two purposes, I guess, for me with using birthday, and more specifically the half birthday marketing, because birthdays, awesome. Half birthdays, pretty unique. As far as I know, we're the only company that really that's our thing, right?
Right.
And so it's a way to celebrate other people without selling at the same time. I don't like to give and ask at the same time, right? Like give with one hand, take with the other. I just like to happy birthday, celebrate people. Awesome. Happy half birthday, celebrate people. That's it. But then the other benefit of it is I get to verify that all of my contact information with them is correct. Right, so that I can keep that database fresh and current and up to date with the people who are in my life.
And if somebody's moved, that's a problem for a realtor if you didn't know it.
Yeah.
Just saying.
True, it's true. I have a lot of people in my life who rent, and I am perfectly fine being friends with them too. It's okay if you're a renter, not a deal breaker. And so, but what's cool is because the return address comes back to me, I can then reach out to those people and like, oh my gosh, you moved, and then correct it that way, as opposed to just losing them forever.
Yeah.
So I like what you said, Rusty. You like to not give and ask at the same time. So you're recognizing their birthdays, but not saying, hey, give me a call when you want to move or anything like that. Yeah. You're not, you're just giving. You're recognizing their birthday. Everybody loves to be recognized on their birthday. And some people will be pleasantly surprised to be recognized on their half birthday, which, as you said, we do really well here at Mailbox Power. But again, you're not asking them for anything. Do you even put your logo on the back of the card?
I do, but it's my logo and my phone number, I think, on the back of everything. But
that's awesome. So they've got that logo recognition, but you're not, hey, give me a call or anything like that. You're just celebrating, and your logo's there so that you can build some recognition with them, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
A real weirdo when it comes to the real estate market, because you know how their cards look. They're certainly advertising themselves all day long. Boy,
believe me, I have plenty of marketing that does that, which I think is like the next two slides, right? But that, I mean, to me, that's a way to stand out. And if I look at the people whose businesses I emulate, and what I like about the real estate field is it is vast. And so there is room for lots of different ways of doing business. For me, the way I like to do business and the people whose careers I admire are the people who have personal relationships with their customers and clients, right? And so my marketing is a combination of both. It is the personal happy birthday, half birthday. Hey, I was just thinking about you, happy anniversary, whatever it happens to be. But then combined with, look at how awesome I am. Look at what I just sold, just listed, like all that.
But before we move on to that, because I do know we have some examples of some postcards that you've sent out. But before we move on to that, Rusty, I want to know specifically when somebody calls you, and I know you've received calls based on these birthday cards and half birthday cards you've sent out. how does the conversation typically go? Because I think people are like, yeah, I'm going to recognize birthdays, but what does that get me? So what has that got? What did you get out of that? Not that you asked for anything, but what did you get out of it?
Right. So I am a big believer that when I'm engaged with often what I get out of it is just another reason to talk to someone I already know. You know, oh my gosh, thanks so much for the birthday card. Oh, you're totally welcome. You know, how's your life? I always try to redirect it to them. You know, that was so cool. How did you do that? Oh, it's a service I'm using. It's been really fun. I really love the community, blah, blah, blah. How are you? What's up with you? Like, so that's part of it. And then, but I've also had the experience of, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I got this. I was talking with you to friends. I mean, this just happened to me 3 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago now. I was talking about you to friends of mine because they want to sell their place, buy a place, and I just think that you guys would click, you know, and that is exactly what happened. And so now we're in the process of selling their house and buying another house, and it really was that experience where they wanted to do a Zoom and they were interviewing 4 agents. We did a Zoom. Hey, what's up? You know, tell me about you. Tell me about what's your situation. Tell me about why are you moving? What's your perfect situation? What would be worth it to go through the drama of selling a place you love that you've almost paid off? You know, what is important to you to make that work, right? Mm-hmm. And so I really try to make it always all about them. And then like after the deal closes, it can be fun and silly and me and whatever, but like, you know.
I like that. I like that. And I hope people are listening to what you're saying, because we're talking about building rapport. When somebody does pick up the phone and thank you for the birthday card or the half birthday card, Rusty's saying he does a lot more asking questions and redirecting the conversation back to them to build rapport. And I think for a lot of people, we feel like building rapport is upon us to generate the conversation. It's really not. If you get really good at asking questions, and like Rusty is really good at redirecting the conversation back to people, you will never run out of things to say. You'll never run out of things to say. You just listen and then ask another question based on what you heard. And that is one of the secrets of building rapport, is to talk less and listen more. But when you do talk, let it be a redirect back to those people. That's what you're saying, Rusty, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, especially, and you know, I think there's 2 parts to it. If it's the initial part is the referral from whomever received the card or the birthday card, or, you know, right. And that's one conversation. Same thing applies. Then it's the conversation with the client. And what we had talked a little bit about just before the call was that idea that when people are buying or selling a house, or changing their insurance provider, or buying a car, or booking an expensive vacation, or whatever it happens to be, they have a special little oven in their brain where they're cooking their hopes and dreams and fears and worries and all of that. And like, that's what's front and center for them. And so most people, like, we're lovely and we're polite, and, you know, but behind that is all of that thought process going on. And so I try to be very present to that, and to keep it all about them so that they will feel safe. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's the safety that then builds the trust, which then allows them to hear my advice and expertise when I provide it. Which again is about listening and not talking, despite my answer.
Love it. Yeah. Love it.
Why use one word when I can use all of them? Like,
yeah.
Oh, so let's talk about this. This is a postcard, and you do some of the typical, what I consider typical realtor moves, sending out postcards of homes that you've just listed and homes you've just sold and that kind of thing. You do that type of thing. First of all, who do you send to? And then has anything come of these postcards that you send out?
Sure. Yeah. So I do it a little differently than how I was taught in the beginning of my career. Initially, I was told if you list a house to send the mailer to a bullseye area around that property, which is it can be profitable because you might then be in touch with somebody who is getting ready to sell or who might know somebody who wants to buy or whatever. The problem, I work in Los Angeles, and geographically I work all over the place, which means I don't have any consistent, if those are the only people I mail to and I list and sell one property, especially in this market because things are moving so fast, right? That they might see my name one time and then I'll something in another area or something, I primarily mail to the same group of people who are in my half birthday club. So it's those top 200 or 300 people in my life who, if I saw them on an elevator, I'd be delighted to see them. They're the people who are consistently getting just listed, just sold, reduced, open house, come to the open house, blah, blah, blah. The more traditional real estate marketing that, to be honest, I do it because it's expected of me, not because it's my favorite thing to do. Meaning that people expect that of a realtor. And so I do it,
And has anyone, when you've sent these postcards, and we've got the just listed one, but you also do the sold ones, when you've sent these, do you get people calling you based on these postcards?
Yeah, a couple different things have happened. Especially, I've been diligent this year using Mailbox Power to send the just listed and just sold postcards because most of my business during the pandemic was off market and just phone calls, friends of friends, that sort of thing.
Right.
People who I have known for a long time, but not through my real estate business, have started to have conversations with me about real estate. Whether they've picked up the phone or I've bumped into them recently. I mean, I was at a couple different pool parties for Memorial Day and saw people who are on the birthday list, on the just sold, just listed list. And, oh my gosh, it looks like you're doing great. What's going on? Yeah, I've had a great year and things are good. And then it's what you were mentioning before about people want to work with people who are successful,
Yes.
And,
yes. And I think that's a real key. When somebody says to you, oh, it looks like you're doing great, it's not because they're all in your business all the time. It's because you're dripping these cards on them. Just listed, just sold, happy birthday. Here's a letter. You're dripping all of this on them all the time. And so you're top of mind. And yes, it does look like you're really busy and really successful. And that's about building your brand as an expert in this arena. And of course, they're going to be calling you when they're ready to sell.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the piece that is, I've lost, to be honest, I mean, I've been around for a long time. And so to be brutally honest, I've lost a lot of business because I thought it was my client's job to remember me. It's my job to remind them that this is my job and I'm available if they ever need it, and then when they call, my job is to be present to them and their needs, whatever they happen to be,
That is so good. So tell us a typical conversation when somebody's received one of these cards, either a just listed or a sold. How does the conversation go? They'll call you and say, hey, Rusty, I got your postcard.
Awesome. Cool. What's going on? How are you? How was your pandemic? I mean, it's such a strange question right now, but it is, oh, how was and then there are, the usual pleasantries. And then, great. So, how can I help you? What's going on? How can I be of service? More than anything, that's how can I be of service? What can I do to help you? Is the position that when I'm sort of at a loss, that's where I always go back to, because that's what our job is.
Yes.
I believe that that's what my job as a realtor is to help people navigate their real estate needs. Sometimes it's, my son needs to rent a studio for X amount of money while he's in college. Happy to help in whatever way I can. Sometimes it's, I have a $10 million house I want you to list for me. Happy to help. Super happy to help with that too.
I'll be right over with a contract.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, thanks for having me on. I gotta go. No.
Right.
Yeah.
So we talked when we were preparing for this. We talked about the fact that it costs you, because we have free postcards, right? It's you're only paying postage on these, and you're blanketing your list of people with the same list. With the just listed and with the sold and with the birthday and things like that, you're working off the same list. And you said at one point, we were talking about your just listed and your sold postcards, and the fact that it costs you about $100 to send all that out to people, roughly. And you also were telling me that you got a couple of massive sales out of that. So it was $100 spent, and it generated roughly how much in commissions in your pocket?
It ended up, what did we say? Well, it was 650, $1.2 million, $1.8 million, 55, 50, 90, about 45,000. That was the realtor math.
Yeah.
45. About $45,000 in commissions.
So there's the question, you guys. When you're sitting there thinking, is it worth it for me to do this? Yes, because this type of thing is what makes the phone ring. And Rusty's telling you the types of conversations he has when the phone does ring, which is being of service and pushing the conversation back to people and making sure he's asking questions and things like that. He doesn't do a hard sale. He doesn't say, I've sold 50 homes this year and blah, blah, blah. He's not pitching himself. He's not even pitching himself on a Zoom that he was invited to pitch himself. He's not even pitching himself on that. He's asking questions and leading people in a conversation, which is fantastic, and generating $45,000 in commissions for himself by doing so, by sending the postcards, by answering the phone, by having these, building rapport with people and having these in-depth conversations with them. He's generated, and that was just off one thing, right, Rusty? We're not talking about all your commissions this year or anything. We're talking about one mailer that generated $50,000 or $45,000 in commissions.
Yeah.
So how's that, Joe, for a return on investment?
I'm in love with it. I think it's amazing, and I think I would keep doing it, which obviously Rusty does. Yeah. Where do I write a check for less than $100 to get $45,000 in commissions? Because I'm writing the check right now.
Yeah.
Well, I think also, like, one of the things that is, at least in our market with real estate, is there's a lot of ongoing work that happens daily. And I do know people who are closing deals every single day within their own business, but most agents I know are not, it's, they're doing 6 transactions a year, 8, 10, 12 transactions a year. We have a higher price point, whatever, but there is this ongoing workload of staying in touch with your clients, product knowledge, contract knowledge, learning your scripts, working on your scripts, fine-tuning your all this stuff, right? One of the reasons, just to pitch Mailbox Power for 5 seconds, that I love Mailbox Power is it automates so much of that workload. So you could sit down in an afternoon, build out this, not even build out, like just, go in and whatever, set it all up. And then that takes it off your plate. But it continues to generate income and contacts and referrals with only basically doing the work one time.
And I think that's a real key, because it gives you more time to have those in-depth conversations and not to feel like you're hurried on the phone, or I've got to speed up this conversation so I can get on to my next thing. If you know that a lot of these things, these keep in touch, staying in touch things are automated, you don't feel that pressure and that stress of having such a limited time to talk to people. Tell us about this. You were telling me about a personalized gift that you sent out to one of your clients. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So these people are longtime clients and friends of mine. They, I sold her a place 15 years ago. And then a couple of years ago, it was time to move, and I sold them another house. And a big piece of the search that was important to them was they wanted a pool with a built-in barbecue out back because he loves to barbecue, and they wanted to build the outdoor man cave with and it's California, so we can do that year round. And they did. And I've been over a couple times since we closed, and we're all big golfers. And so this was just the perfect way of, there really was no reason other than to say, thanks for being my friend. Thanks for trusting me in real estate. It's been awesome to get to spend more time with you over the last couple of years. And they called and, oh my gosh, these are so cool. How did you do this? So blah, 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 blah. And I'm really glad to get this because I was just talking with you to friends of mine at work the other day, now that we're back in the office, and they're looking to buy a place. And I was like, oh my gosh, you have to work with Rusty. So it's a version of that conversation over and over and over again,
So in this case, sending the gift and staying top of mind certainly benefited. They were like, oh, I was just talking about you. You find out they've referred you to somebody. And how do you handle that? Because somebody else said in the comments that they have referrals, but the people never call them. Do you follow up with the referral, or do they contact you?
Again, I turn it back to them. So would you like me to reach out to them? I'm happy to do that. If they'd be more comfortable contacting me, then,
You ask the person that gave the referral how they want it handled.
Yes.
I love that. I love that because I think that a lot of us, when you're chasing somebody down or banging down the door, that might not be the right approach for people. And and on the other hand, people are like, well, I got referred to him, but he never called me. So I think it's perfect to ask the person that gave the referral. And here's what I love about that. Then you're keeping them in the loop of how you're going to handle this precious referral, because that's what we're all about. Mm-hmm. You're keeping them in the loop on how you're going to handle that. So if they hear feedback from their friend about, oh, he didn't contact me or this or that, they are now in the loop. They know what's going on. Right. So I think that that's a very important part of this.
I also, just as an aside, I always try to send a thank you gift. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be, super expensive, but just a thank you acknowledgement when somebody creates a referral, whether I follow up, not that I wouldn't follow up, but whether anything comes of it or not. Right. Because I want to reward the referral behavior. I want to say, thank you for thinking of me. Mm-hmm. Right. If they've made the referral, their job is done. It's not their job to close the deal, find the house, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Great point. So I know you've got several campaigns set up, and this is one of your realtor campaigns that you have set up. This is the first 6 weeks. It's a 12-week campaign, right?
Yes.
And so what's your point with this?
So this is an expired listing 12-week marketing campaign that I use. And it's funny that you say, you just said in dealing with referrals, if you don't want to go knock down their door. I have tried door knocking a couple different times. I've tried door knocking expireds. And for those of you who don't know, what that means is when a listing contract expires, that is published in the MLS. And there are brokers who build their career by knocking on the door 8 a.m. Hi, I see that your house is no longer for sale. Are you still interested in selling? And I don't know if you can tell or not, but I am not that guy. I have tried to be that guy, and I am not that guy. And there's a couple different reasons for it. There's nothing quite so discouraging as like I got myself one time just all worked up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go knock on the door, and I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I don't know what I'm afraid is gonna happen, but that's and I got to the porch, and there were 14 packages stacked on the porch that looked exactly the same, all in the same envelope, all in the same. And it was like, how do you differentiate yourself?
Wow.
And so what I do with this campaign, which I've done, it has been very, very profitable for me, is they get a gigagram the first week with a picture of their house. There's a how to list your house checklist on the inside, and then a message that just says, I'm sorry your house didn't sell. It must be super frustrating, especially in this market, because it seems like every single house is going into multiple offers, right? If you have any questions or you're open to seeing a different way of doing it, I'd be happy to talk to you, right? And then the third week, I forget what the second week says, but the third week, I actually have a copy of it right here. There's a card. It's just like my little logo card, right? And then there's a QR code on the inside. And if they scan that, it goes to a video of me saying, hey, I'm not going to knock on your door at 8 a.m. If that's the agent you're looking for, I am not your agent.
I love that.
But if you're interested in dealing with somebody who, I don't think it's appropriate to knock on your door, but if you're interested in having a conversation with somebody about maybe marketing it a different way, I would love to help you. And then the rest of the weeks are just about, different sales statistics and, different strategies and that sort of thing. And then week 12, just again, so the expectation is set and the message is communicated. Week 12 says, this is the 12th week that I've been in contact with you and I have not heard anything. So I'm going to stop. If you or anyone has any need for real estate services in the future, I would happily and enthusiastically assist you in your needs. Best of luck with everything. And then that's it. I'm done.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And I think that somebody asked in the comments if this is available in the campaign store. And this is very specific to what Rusty does. There is a group on Facebook for realtors. And if you don't already belong to that, you could find it. It's Mailbox Power Realtors, right, Joe?
That is correct. Yes. Love to have you.
So if you're a realtor and you're watching this and you want something similar to what Rusty's sending out, this is not available as is because it's full of his branding and his words and his personality and all of that. But if you want something similar, just go and ask in that group, Mailbox Power Realtors, and people will be happy to help you. There's an entire community. And that's one of the things that Rusty loves about this company is there's an entire community of people supporting each other in their business. And that's what they're there for. That's what the group is there for. And so please, go over there, join the group. You can ask whatever questions and people will be there to support you.
Absolutely. I mean, I say it on the overviews too, that we have a culture of if you win, I win. And if we win, everybody wins.
Yeah.
And, especially in today's day and age, get off my lawn. Like I sound like such a cranky old man, right? But to be able to have that support and encouragement and just the wealth of knowledge and the cross population of there are probably insurance people on the call who might get ideas from what I'm talking about, because I know I've gotten ideas from all different kinds of industries that I would never think like, oh God, it's great. It's cool.
Absolutely. So what we're talking about here, guys, and you know this, you've been following the conversation. Rusty doesn't make it all about Rusty. Rusty makes it all about the people he's serving. And that is the key to all of this, to getting the referrals, to generating the business, to building rapport, to anything that he's doing. He is focused on the customer, the potential client, whoever that may be. That's what his focus is on, not about all showing everybody how fantastic he is. Although by doing the things that Rusty is doing through Mailbox Power and sending the postcards and sending this 12 touch campaign and things like that, he doesn't have to say how great he is. This is speaking for him. So he is combining, once he gets that phone to ring, then he's just his normal charming self in developing the conversation and making sure that people feel valued. And that brings us straight to Joe's favorite slide in every presentation.
I want Rusty to cover this because he told me a little story about it today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was my screensaver or my desktop image for years, because I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I think that like what we had talked about earlier was the idea that I think sometimes people think sales is about talking and putting on a show and like, look at how cool I am. And nobody cares, right? Like my friends like when I put on a show and I'm silly and whatever, but in a professional setting, when I'm trying to help people, you know, accomplish their goals, they don't care. They might say they don't care. They want to feel important as they are, right? It's whether in real estate, whether the price point is $150,000 or $10 million. Like, I think that everybody has the same basic concerns as a buyer or seller. Am I being smart with my money? Is this a wise decision? Is this the right time to sell, the right time to buy? You know, and it is a lot of money to that person, whether it's, you know, regardless of the price point. And I think the more that you keep them front and center and their needs and their hopes and dreams and all of that, the more successful the transaction and then ultimately your career will end up being. That's been my experience anyway.
So true.
Awesome. Well done.
So true. So guys, if you want to know more about this or more about any of the things that we've talked about today about generating leads or a million other topics that we have covered through these lunch and learns, you can go and view all of them on the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Mailbox Power. So, and the group that we talked about was Mailbox Power Realtors on Facebook. So again, if you have any interest in diving a little bit deeper into this topic, those are two great resources for you where you'll find additional information and support.
Yep. And you could find Rusty there. He hangs out in that group. And if you want to ask him a question, he's right there. Definitely. Awesome. So I think this is it. This is the end of our lunch and learn. I'm sad. Oh my gosh. Well, or maybe not so much. I can go eat now, right? Okay.
And for some bulletproof coffee.
Right on. All right. Well, Rusty, any last words for folks? What to say when the phone rings?
Keep it about them and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Definitely. Awesome. Vanessa, thoughts?
I would say be yourself and don't worry that you're going to say the wrong thing. But if you do focus on what Rusty has trained today and keep focus on the customer, focus on the client, focus on the person that made the phone call, and you will win every single time. Rusty, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us and some examples of some of the things that you send out. We really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really a delightful experience.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us with today's Lunch and Learn. We'll see you next week. And like Vanessa said, you can watch any of our Lunch and Learns on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Mailbox Power, and you will find them all there. Thank you, and have a wonderful day and a great lunch if you haven't had that yet. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.